Okay, this week we're going to be doing a little video on assembling the 440. We got our block back from the machine shop, bored out, and cam bearings pressed in. And I've been waiting for a little while to save up a little money for some more parts that we're going to need. And got a little income tax money and went on Summit Racing and ordered a new oil pan, cam and lifter set with the springs, new balancer, timing cover, and oil sump. So with that and all the other parts we already got, I think we got enough to pretty much put the motor together. We had already got the rings, the rod bearings, main bearings, and I got this upgraded rear main seal. So with that, and we already got the pistons pressed on the rods, so I guess now we can go ahead and start putting this big old monster 440 together. All this stuff came with the cam. I didn't think it was all this. Has the little umbrellas, the retainers, little keepers, of course the cam, the lifters, new springs, timing set. I think we're all pretty much set as far as the cam goes. One other thing, I've got the little hone on order on eBay to hone out all of the lifter bores. And I want to make sure that these spin freely and that the lifter bores are cleaned out really good. I'm going to go ahead and hone those out and then re-clean the block. And then first thing, put in the cam. And once we get the lower end assembled, can stick our lifters in there. Put plenty of moly lube on it. Put in the some oil with the zinc in it and some zinc additive. I just don't want to wipe this flat tappet cam. We're gonna really do everything we can to keep that from happening. But we just about got everything rounded up. I need an oil pump and some valve covers, but that oil pump is external, so that won't be holding us up and putting the pan on and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and get these in the tumbler and see how well it works. Alright, my little 7/8 hone came in, so I can start honing out these lifter bores. It's really cool. They come in different sizes, so you don't have to adjust it. And tested it out. Seems to work pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these lifter bores honed out and then clean up the block. We can start putting our cam in. It's going to be awesome. Okay, got it honed out really good. And went to the zone and got an entire case of brake parts cleaner so I can get up in there and clean out all the oil passages. And I'm going to try to test fit some of the lifters, see how they spin. I got the Valvoline VR1 with more zinc extreme wear protection. Yeah, that's what we want, is the zinc oil. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this dude cleaned out really good and test fit the lifters. And I think we'll go ahead and put the cam in there and we can start putting the crank in. So here we go with that. Okay, let me get these oil galley plugs out of here so we can get up in there and clean it really good. Another one up here in the front. Get in all these oil galleys really good. Found another plug down here. Get this all washed out. I think I'm getting it pretty well cleaned up. Check these lifter bores, and seems as though there's no drag. Pretty good. I think they'll spin pretty freely now. No crud or rust in there. I think, oh, that one may be. Yeah, we don't want to over-hone it. I think they'll spin freely. Yeah, that one's good. Okay. Nice, nice. Okay, all my lifters are spinning freely, and I've got my rear main seal in there. Use this Bernstein sealant stuff. It's kind of gooey. I might have to wipe that, but got that in the rear main seal cap, and got all my main caps all cleaned up, crankshaft all ready to go in, bearings ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this dude together. Got all my main bearings in there. Those caps were a real tight fit, but I got them all down snug. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the main cap bolts in there. And I like to just drench them in oil just to make sure you're gonna get an accurate torque reading. So we're gonna go ahead and get this crank bolted down. Alright, got it all torqued down, and we're spinning freely, and it's getting kind of late today, so I think I'm going to come in tomorrow, start putting the pistons in. Alright, got all the rings on these monstrous pistons, and hopefully I got them in the right order. So I think we can go ahead and get these all oiled up, put the spring compressor on them, and start popping them in the holes. Alright, pretty much slimed everything up and popped the pistons in, and she turns over real easy now. At one time this motor was completely rusted up, and that's going to be a whole lot of motor for that little Plymouth. It's no longer a 440 anymore, it's a 450 being bored 60 over. So I think the heads are going to be coming back from the machine shop sometime this week, and once they do, I'm going to go ahead and see if we can't finish this up. Okay, it's the next day, and still no heads from the machine shop, so I decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and put the cam in. Of course, I can't put the lifters in because I got to turn the motor upside down to put the oil pan on. So at least I can get the cam in and the timing chain, and if I can find the gasket, I can put on my new timing cover. Nobody seems to have it in stock, but we're going to go ahead and get this cam lubed up, stick it in there, and put on the timing chain. Okay, got the cam in there, put plenty of assembly lube. As you can see, it's still bleeding, but turns over pretty smoothly. And I think now we're ready to go ahead and put our chain on there and sprocket, and maybe we can get this front end covered up. Okay, I got my sprockets on here, and I rotated the cam around to where the timing mark is lined up, and the crank too. So when I put the chain on, everything should line up. So we're going to go ahead and get this on here and double check our timing marks. Okay. There we go. Alright, cam retaining bolt here. Alright. Okay. I got lots of Loctite on our cam retaining bolt, and I'm going to torque it to 35 foot-pounds. There we go. Alrighty then. I think we're done with the cam sprocket. Okay, it's a couple days later, and I had ordered some gaskets, and they all came in. So I guess now we can go ahead and start putting some tin on. Got the oil pan down there. I de-rusted my windage tray and got some paint on it. Also, I put this up in the dip, the intake manifold. Got it painted up all pretty. And got to do a little cleaning up on the gasket surfaces. And I got a big old tube of silicone so we can make sure nothing leaks. And I was gonna paint my balancer, but then I realized it has timing marks on it. So I didn't want that thing to sit there and rust with the rest of the motor painted, so I mixed up a little tiny bit of clear coat. And I'm gonna spray a couple coats on that and let it dry while I'm putting the rest of the pan and timing cover on. Hopefully it'll be dry so I can get that on there, but we'll see. Might have to let it set overnight. So we're gonna go ahead and spray that dude down and start putting all the other stuff on. Put a nice little layer of silicone on here and get this buttoned up. Okay, got it on there. My socket didn't fit down here, so I had to use an end wrench, but it's there. We're good to go. Okay, I got my first layer of gasket glued down. Got my windage tray on there. It's kind of a snug fit under the tube. And of course I got the wrong oil sump, so I had to extend it because it was, well, probably an inch away from the bottom of the pan. And when I welded it, I also indexed it so that it was starting to tighten up as it came to this position, and it's really tight there. Put a little silicone on the threads just to make sure we're not sucking air up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this other gasket glued on, put the pan on, and bolt it on. All right, it's the next day, and I'm getting ready to put these freeze plugs in. Nobody had 6 in stock, but everybody's got a set of small block Chevy freeze plugs in stock, and they're 1 5/8", and they're cheaper than buying them individually. So I'm gonna get these ready, and the wife is bringing them, and we're gonna go ahead and pound these in and then get a little paint on this motor. Alright, got all my freeze plugs in, and got 2 left over. That's kind of the advantage of getting the small block Chevy ones. Plus, we get a whole bunch of these little plugs that you can't find individually, so we'll keep those stashed somewhere. So, now I think we're going to clean this up and mask off where the heads go, and see if we can get some paint on this. Okay. Alright. I think it's going to work.
Absolutely.
A little spot there.
Yes.
Okay.
Cover everything. Okay, we got it all masked off and all ready to start painting. Looking pretty cool. I can't wait. I like pretty painted motors. It's awesome. All right, everybody, what do you think of this? This is our new paint color for the motor. I like this color. It is awesome. Let me know what y'all think. Send me a comment. I love answering them. Next up is we're going to peel all this tape off and start finishing our assembly.
Alrighty, we have our heads back from the machine shop. All surfaced, ground, new valve springs. Awesome. So, meanwhile, I've been rounding up parts. Got the valley pan and push rods. The old ones were rust pitted. Got our lifters, of course. And we got some cheapo Chinesium valve covers. I'm sure they're going to rust within a few months, but you know, it ain't that hard to unbolt and paint them later on. So, got the intake all cleaned up. Valve cover gaskets, head gaskets. I think we're ready to go. So, I'm gonna go ahead and start bolting down these heads and see how much we can get done today. Okay, there's a bunch of crud on these head bolts. Just a little bit of rust and slime. So, I'm gonna run these all through a die and get them cleaned up so that I get an accurate torque. That's the fastest way to clean them up. And that way we know that when we torque them, they're not gonna click sooner than they should. So, get these cleaned up really good. And then we can torque our heads down. Alright, got my heads all torqued down. Torqued them to 55 and then 75. And I think we're ready to lube up our cam really good. Put our lifters in. That way we can get our rockers cleaned up and go ahead and tighten them down. So, I think I'm gonna have to run to the auto parts store and get some Molly lube. That's one of the most important things on these flat tappet motors. Of course, I already honed them out, got them really good and cleaned out. So, we're gonna go ahead and get our lifters in here and proceed on with our assembly. Okay, I like using STP to break in cams. It's got plenty of zinc in it, and it'll stick to the cam. I like to slather it all over and also put it on all the lifters. So, get all these lifters in here and lube them up good. I left one of my rocker shafts in order because you got shorter, longer bolts, and wider spacers, and little spacers. Just wanted something to go by. So I'm going to assemble this one, put in my push rods, and then I got something to go by after I take that apart and clean it up. So we're going to get this together and put in the push rods and bolt it down. Okay, I guess this is going to be fun. Getting these all lined up. Okay, now all we got to do is get it close enough to line up our push rods. Alright, I'm gonna torque these to 25 foot-pounds. Alrighty. Slather these up. Have a lot of slimy STP all over them. I think that'll be good for braking. So now all we got to do is clean up the other side and bolt it down. Alright, it's the next day and I've been getting all my gaskets glued down, so hopefully they'll stay in place. I still gotta get the head side done. There's 3 layers of gaskets. There's ones on the intake, one on the head, and the valley pan. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these glued down, let them set up for a little while so we can get our intake bolted on. Alright, got my intake all bolted down and got my timing cover masked off and put on these old valve covers just so I don't paint my rockers. Now I can get in here and paint these heads up to match the motor, and I think we're about ready to get this dude wrapped up. Well, I can't believe that the El Cheapo valve covers actually fit. I was fixing to get the drill out and ream the holes, but it actually fit. Oh, I think we pretty much got a motor. So, now all we got to do is see if it's going to fit in that little tiny car. So, I think that's going to be about it for this video. And we appreciate y'all watching.